Godsey Slade. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old Godsey Slade. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old Godsey Slade. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old Godsey Slade. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old Godsey Slade. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7.
Hey! Oh, there's the penguin. There we are. I'll even put on my bow tie. How's everyone doing? The early stream, I definitely didn't forget about it until the last moment there. Hello! Been a busy penguin. Hope everyone else is having a good week. Midterms for me, lots of math. The first one on our list here is a Tordread game. It's Tordread versus Kantbei. Here, Olaf versus Max. I will not badmouth the midterms because I want them to be on my side, but I understand that sentiment. It would super suck if I failed. But just if I failed the statistics class, that would really suck because I need that one to graduate, and it only happens once a year. But I'm pretty sure I am doing just fine in that class, so no worries. That would be mega oof, yeah. It wouldn't be the end of the world. It would just be, you know, a year delayed. But that's okay. I'm planning to take a year between going for the Masters anyway, so I would just have less work opportunities for that year. Where I probably have similar ones, but I just get less pay, which would suck. Okay, so I think this is sent in by Kantbei. I don't know if Tordread has ever sent in a game to me. I don't know why. Yeah. We're on speaking terms. I like to think we're friendly. I am a math major with a minor in philosophy. I mean, I guess technically I could take a different class, but that class is highly recommended if you're going into teaching. Math stats, I would highly recommend avoiding if you can. I do not enjoy that class. That is a heavy class. Got some big formulas. Yeah, so it's like a statistics class, except you're doing the proofs for everything they use in statistics. It's very, very, very math heavy, formula heavy, abstract. Yeah, a lot of that. It's all you need to hear is proofs. Count me out. Proofs of I hate proofs. I thought at some point I would come around to them, but I really dislike them. You think I'd come out? I mean, I've done so many now. I know I've done 164 streams. I don't know when the I must be getting close to a year of YouTube. Maybe not. No. I think I started in the summer. I could be wrong. Yeah, I streaming I started in September. I had some YouTube videos. I can quickly check. The first YouTube video I ever put up was the Cobalt Ice Anthem. Mainly because I wanted to share it on the Discord and I couldn't get it to show. So I put together a very haphazard music video. May 19th. So in 9 days, I'll have my official 1 year anniversary. That's pretty exciting. I am in touch with my tropical brethren. It works because Smart Green Guy says it does. I don't have to mark everything up in LaTeX. I've only ever done that for one class, Calculus 4, and it was extra credit to put it in LaTeX. I have a class at I have a class right after the stream, essentially at 4. ChatGPT, I've used it for some of the math problems. It gets them. It has a really hard time with formatting, and it has a really hard time with like bounds of integration. It can do the integrating just fine, but it often gets the problem wrong. Or I'll even like I'll like have it like do the problem multiple times and it comes up with different answers. So at least at my level of math, ChatGPT will not help. Well, I mean, it helps because you get to it like looks up the process for doing the problem and then just messes it up. So if I'm ever having trouble on that regard, I can put it in ChatGPT and then have that kind of set me on the right course. Hopefully, sometimes not. You have to buy a capture card and start a series 300ing the challenge campaign and war room map. That could be fun. Well, sometimes, especially in the math statistics, they take shortcuts with the integrals because they'll have different transformations from one type of data distribution to another that can like work in a different integral. So you can just kind of take a huge chunk. These integrals are like really, really long. You just take a huge chunk and be like, well, that looks exactly the same as what I do in some other transformation. So I'll just take a shortcut there. And then that makes doing it by hand often faster than the trying to do it through the computers, because the computers aren't doing those shortcuts, and they'll just stare at you and be like, this is an unsolvable integral and stuff like that. Or they'll like, it doesn't have a valid antiderivative or stuff like that. It gets really complex. It's all like the gamma function and lots and lots of variables. Lots of integration by parts. It super doesn't matter unless you're going really far into statistics. But yeah, there's like Symbol Lab and integral calculators, and they can be helpful for sure. Yeah, no worries. Once upon a time, you knew how to integral. Yeah. I remember when I first learned how to integral, and there was a single integral sign, and I thought that was very fancy. And now it's like 7 integral signs in a line. New York is part of your area of expertise. Nice. Very nice, very nice. If you use integrals in your job exactly one time for each calculus class you've taken. Hi! Okay, we can move on from those. I have never heard that the integral sign is a big letter S for sum, but I could understand that if you're looking at it from the Riemann sum approach, as is the custom. That's how they usually teach it to you. And then you go into real analysis and you have to prove it all over again. So fun. Okay, we can jump into the game now. Hey, data scientist. You get to work in R and everything. R is pretty fun. It's not a math podcast. I know. Okay, so in the top left, playing as Max, we have Kantbei. Dun, 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 dun. And in the bottom right, playing as Olaf, we have Tordread. Dun, 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 dun. The way the game goes. So, Max versus Olaf is a pretty interesting matchup. It's kind of similar to Max for dealing with Eagle in that Max doesn't want to get caught by a super unaware and would love to get a whole bunch of early damage done against Olaf with that increased vehicle damage day to day. So, we'll see how this goes. Kantbei can be... He used to be really good at crafting openings. I'm not a huge fan of the opening he's going for right now. But it's not bad. He picked up another infantry into this black boat. I'll have both of them loaded in here, and he's going to go over here, drop one off at the harbor, and then go over here, drop one off on the airport, and come back, I assume. Pick that guy up. It will mean that this airport is going to get, captured faster than whether instead of just using one infantry back here. But it does take 2 infantry to do this. So it could be that Kantbei is going for a double recon opening here. Kantbei is kind of hoping that like these infantry just don't get harassed at all, because it's going to be pretty iffy to be moving out here with just 2 guys. This is the weaker side for Tordread, but you're not... you would expect Olaf to not try and do like a recon harassment against Max, because Max's tanks can just easily kill those recons. So you're going to expect Tordread as Olaf here to either open with artillery and tanks to be rather defensive, and that means that these guys are going to be really vulnerable, because a tank will probably strike at them, especially if there's like an artillery backup. Like if we're looking at these, like this, probably more this city in particular, the artillery goes into these woods and the tank hits the infantry, and it's just gonna, that's like that'll be half of the infantry that Kantbei has on this front. And Tordread will be really comfortable going for that because of the artillery coverage. But this map in general is probably going to favor Olaf, because it's got really long reinforcement routes. There's just always going to be a lot of units on the field. It's going to take a while before the 2 players actually end up meeting each other in combat. And you'll have just really large unit counts. And since the global damage does 2 damage to every unit, the higher the unit count is, the more effective the global damage is. Oh, you can see here Tordread is actually going tank artillery over here. This is the weaker side, but as you can see, this capture route's really awkward for the infantry. And it's going to be the one that's more likely going to be attacked by recon harassment, rather than this one that has kind of better setup for the double base. We'll see if these recons end up getting anything done. We do have a very fast copter from Kantbei, which is going to be really good. It's going to help with making sure there's a nice unit count advantage, and also help shore up these infantry numbers after having to have multiple ones in the back here. You can see that the advantage that Kantbei got, though, getting this airport far faster than what Tordread's going to get, which is pretty nice. I don't think Kantbei's going to have the downside to it is that Kantbei is not going to have the money to produce off of 2 airports, so it's not going to be as huge of an advantage as it could be. Like if this was a high funds game, this would be absolutely massive, because you'll easily be able to afford producing off of 2 airports while also building from your bases. And that just means if your opponent isn't producing from 2 airports, you just gradually get more and more and more units. 1k is 1k. Well, this isn't going to be more money, probably, because Tordreads, because this takes an infantry off of the front lines to get this, and Tordreads will be able to use that same infantry on the front lines to potentially get one of these other cities. Ooh. Tordread, nice and safe in these woods. Sees, checks out this recon that came down here pretty aggressively. I would also probably feel safe being on this city. But Tordread was super ready for it. Gets us around so the recon can't escape. And the tank's pretty safe too. It would take quite a bit to get to this tank. You'd have to have a tank of your own and then also 2 infantry to kill off this infantry, and then the recon could get away and the tank could strike from the city, which would be really good. But even if that happened, Tordread would not be in trouble because Tordread can then use the remaining infantry and tank to trap that tank on the city and bring the artillery over onto the woods. So this is a very nice situation for Tordread right now. It's not like it's game over for Kantbei though. Just losing 1 recon. This will probably make Kantbei feel pretty safe about attacking over here though with this recon. Oh, the black boat had to go back onto this harbor. Apparently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It could have made it. It could have gone over here, picked up this infantry, and then dropped them off over here for this harbor. So I'm not quite sure why Kantbei slowed himself down there. Might not have just calced that out. Okay. So we do have... I'm not quite sure why this recon was built for Kantbei. I thought it was going to be like double-sided aggression, but this has just been a very defensive recon, I guess. And Kantbei has been investing on the 2 base side, as you would expect, for some nice vehicle harassment. He's going to have to get a replacement recon. I would have liked to have seen a replacement recon. Probably skip this tank. The anti-air makes sense. You could probably delay the anti-air. Now, Kantbei probably thinks that Tordread is doing the same opening with the black boat, and that's why the anti-air is being built. Thinks this airport is already captured. Is that cap good? Of this one? That is very optimistic. It might happen, though. This is in the darkness. I would not send this infantry. Actually, this cap is kind of okay right here, and it's really bad right here. And the reason being, this infantry is kind of set up to die, and no matter what hits it from, if like these 2 infantry, this one steps to here and hits it, and that will reveal that this city is being captured. So if this doesn't happen, it's a lot safer to go for this because you're still in the fog. And unless Tordread just doesn't attack the infantry. Wow. Okay. Well, in this case, Kantbei does get away with this. Tordread decided not to attack the infantry. I would definitely have my infantry go double swing. Take this guy out. But I think Tordread just wants to get the city, I guess, and keep this defensive line with the artillery coverage very safe. It is against Max, so that's understandable. Wait, Kantbei getting the comm tower. Does hit in with this copter. Probably check the range on the anti-air movement. So it can get to here. And so you'll be pretty safe here. I mean, it's possible that the anti-air will strike you, but it's 3 turns out instead of just 2 turns out from the base. So this should be a safe attack. The thing that Kantbei will have to be a little focused on is making sure that the copter can't then just get surrounded. Decide to attack in with this infantry. Very aggressive. This is making me think Kantbei's plan wasn't necessarily going to be, and probably wasn't with the recon going here, wasn't to do economic damage. I think Kantbei's plan is to try and get some comm tower denial, which is why there's so much aggression on these infantry back here with nothing available to be captured. Okay, we do have the copter being built from this airport, as is... What happened here? Can this not reach? Oh, it can't reach. Oh no! Kantbei is punished hard for not just coming over here last turn. I'm not sure why Kantbei ends here. Might as well drop off your infantry so it can start doing something. But this is really unfortunate because now this copter's here. So the infantry had to walk off and block the only tile that the black book can pick it up from. Which will mean another turn that this airport will have to be blocked, and then the black book can come over and then pick up the infantry. So this is going to be just one copter being produced here. Tordread had one infantry uninjured and in range, so is going to be able to get the comm tower here. It has a really large infantry attack force coming in here due to all the vehicles being built on the weaker side. Yeah, I don't know why Kantbei bought this recon. So far, it's just been kind of hiding over here. Yeah, Kantbei can't actually sack the 4 health because it was on a city, so it heals up to 6. This is a really questionable play because the artillery is already fired. So the only reason that I can think of that Kantbei would want to do that is if the idea is to get the artillery to stay in the woods, and then Kantbei has a plan to just charge it. But I don't think that's... If that is the plan, then Kantbei needs to have an infantry in range of the woods, and they're not. They stop outside of it, so that's going to force a vehicle to have to reveal it, and that's just not that good. Ooh, then we have a base skip. Copter recon tank. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No worries of running out of fuel on this block boot. Okay. So Tordread does not have any anti-air with this, so that if Tordread ends up pushing forward, it looks like they're just gonna try and hold this city. Then if they tried to push forward, they get absolutely stomped. Recon moves forward inch by inch, as does this line of infantry. If there's a fight here, then Tordread will want to trade out all of these infantry because it's so hard to resupply infantry to your 1 base side, as we're seeing over here for poor Tordread. He almost completely ran out. Yeah, that was a full health infantry for a 1 health infantry. It was a 1 health infantry on the weak side, but still, that's not ideal. But also not like game losing. Okay. Not 100% sure what Tordread's doing over here. very defensive over here, which makes sense because there was a lot of aggression out of Kantbei. But it looks like might be some attempts to try and sneak up here, but none of the infantry are actually threatening anything. And I don't think Kantbei is going to strike because, I mean, there isn't really much backup for the infantry yet. This is like really far forward for Tordread. It just like squished against the side of the map. Oh, Kantbei is trying to sucker him in. If Tordread steps forward, this front switch comes in, all of these units are just going to get absolutely destroyed. I've tried bluffing anti-airs. It always fails for me. I've been like, there's no way I wouldn't have an anti-air here. And the other person's like, you don't have an anti-air. Every time. Also, the potential... it is something you can do, but the potential gain of bluffing that you have an anti-air is so slim. The emotes are back. Hey, you know why? Because Inkagar used one. Okay, look at all these units. They're so scared. But yeah, in this matchup, Tordread's very happy not fighting and just building up a bunch of units so that the snow comes. Okay. But what this tells me is that Tordread has no idea that a front switch has happened. So Kantbei has executed this really, really well. Kind of pulled back and then ran over here. And Tordread, not a clue. And then this city starts being captured. This might cause Tordread to try and stop it in an aggressive fashion, which will just kind of cause Tordread to be moving into this front switch and could get absolutely ruffle stomped. Oh. Well, hi there. So, I really don't like... this medium tank moving first. This is a mistake we all make. I make as well. But I would like to move the frontline infantry here first, because I don't want to reveal that I have a medium tank. Both because it gives intel on the defenses or the combat prowess of this front, but also it gives a lot of intel about what might be over here, because medium tanks are pretty pricey. And if there's a medium tank over here, there can't be that much over here, in addition to the other stuff that Kantbei has seen. So this should give Kantbei a huge green light to just attack here. The recons didn't even have to scout it. It was just infantry. Takes out the 4 health? Sure. Here we go. Right. So usually you'd want to attack with the furthest back unit, so the copter, but attacking with copters forwardly like that can be a little iffy. I think this will mean that this copter is not going to get involved in this attack, where that tank could have been used to hit this infantry after that gets revealed by one of Kantbei's own infantry. Yeah, in we go. Never mind. Why use these guys when you've got a bomber? Take out that infantry. All right. A very nice attack here from Kantbei. We'll see. Only one copter can get in here. Looks like Kantbei doesn't know about this artillery, but that's okay. In this situation, it's kind of fine for Kantbei to attack into the artillery range because these artillery don't have enough backup. So if they sat here and fired, they would just die the next turn. So there's a very nice attack here by Kantbei. I'm not sure that the bomber had to be revealed. That was a little iffy. Everything over here needs to run, however. We'll see if Kantbei does so. Okay, good. Okay, just run. Just run away. Run away. I don't like these movements. I don't know why Kantbei is stepping like 2 back and then 1 over. Kind of need to go all 3 back. Like that's still... I guess all 3 back is still in range of that tank. Yeah. And the reason why you need to run away over here is because Kantbei just revealed that like the entire army is on this front, and Tordread is going to want to try and get some compensation for this attack, and that would be this army up here. You did know about the RD? You thought it was worth? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is worth. These artillery, they're going to fire. I think that's probably a mistake. I mean, it does get a lot of charge for Tordread, so maybe it's not. Looks like Tordread's going to stay and fight. You're going to see that all of these attacks that Tordread does are going to be just negative in value. So this artillery, like these are all going to die. This artillery dies for 5 damage on a tank. This artillery dies for 7 damage on a tank. Not the worst. This copter will die for 7 damage on a copter. This tank is going to die for 5 damage on a tank. This tank is also going to die for 5 damage on a tank. We'll see how much retaliation they get, which is probably going to be really little, because they're just going to get killed by copters. So, all of those attacks are going to be really, really negative in value, as we just saw. And that will pretty much guarantee that this front is going to be suppressed for a very long time. You can just run instead and try and preserve your units. But it's also a very difficult call to make. The other, I mean, it's not the worst thing for Tordread because it does also give a lot of charge for Olaf losing all these units. So there will always be that compensation of the super going off. But the main problem that Tordread ran into there is that these units were so far back over here that these guys that are coming over, they can't really help. Like this anti-air doesn't even cover this tank. So we're going to see Kantbei just like surge ahead in unit count and unit value here. I don't even know if max force is needed, but it will make this even better. I'm not 100% sold on these attacks over here. But does this kind of give the info to Kantbei that Tordread's like on the way? That is a really iffy attack. I'm not sure why the copter attacked from that side. I guess it just wanted to guarantee something. Didn't have to. I mean, the bomber is here. You can just kill this tank off. And then copter here, copter here. I wouldn't want to attack from this side because Tordread's army's moved, and it's going to move to the right. Would have been better for Tordread to just push the advantage on the left because you can basically write off the units on the right. Yeah, I think Tordread should have just attacked forward on the left instead of trying to front switch over. Just attack forward on the left and run away on the right towards your bases. Because as we can, oh my gosh, as you can see, the losses are immense. So Tordread's going to get overcharged here, not by a ton. Overcharged being a charge that's not going to be filling up the meter because the meter's already full. And that matters because Tordread's playing as Olaf, who really cares about these supers. So all of these units that are dying are no longer going to be contributing to a super in the future. Looks like this one infantry is going to get spared. There's definitely a pretty good attack for Kantbei. I'm not a huge fan of this copter, like these units getting closer to the incoming army. But otherwise, I like that a lot. You gotta expect that you're about to get hit by the snow, and that's gonna help. The snow is gonna help Tordread catch up with this army, though. You need someone to tell us people what happened. It is definitely a very strong engagement for Kantbei there. You'll see the snow helps equalize the unit value by quite a bit, actually. 50,000 damage, essentially. But that doesn't help with the unit count. Okay, the Neotank dove in. It's safe, because bombers can only move 3. 3. So the snow is very helpful. It also slows down all the captures that Kantbei would be going for. But Kantbei is going to be very happy in this situation. End of Tordread's turn, Kantbei's up by 8 units. Although a lot of these ones are still going to die because they're kind of trapped in the snow and they can't get away from the army. But I really like this. These incoming forces on this side. Because Kantbei knows everything's been sent and invested over here to try and hold. Just falls back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hopefully there's something gets put in front of the bomber, otherwise it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. The bomber's already gotten some value. Killed an artillery and an infantry. And this fighter would get traded out, it wouldn't get just a clean kill. This must be before the change that made it so you no longer heal while inside black boats. But you can see a lot of these units can't actually get away. Although, actually got out of range of these anti-airs. Wow, this copter actually got away. Although, I was going to say, it's probably not the best idea for Tordread to chase too far anyway. Because there's still going to be a pretty scary max army up there. Yeah, you're right. There's no way he spots the bomber. Well, I didn't see where the recon was. Okay, the recon's right. Or can he spot it with the copter? No, this copter doesn't reach here. 1, 2, 3. Barely can't see the bomber. Tordread will know where the bomber is, essentially, because it can only move 3 tiles. But he is indeed just out of range. It wouldn't be the best trade anyway. Well, he put 2 infantry into the black boat. They're being double healed. Very nice. I'd also probably repair the bomber. Oh, there we go. We got that guy. Out they pop. Kantbei has unloaded 1. And it comes out the other one. I don't know why it took so long. That's okay. Was deciding here or here, I guess, for a long time. So I do like this attack over here coming in. Looks like Tordread is kind of in trouble in the vision department. Still just have this 1 recon. Because, like, look at how much stuff is able to build up right outside of Tordread's vision. And it kind of said the same thing happened over here. And that's probably just the fear of the max tank one-shotting the recons. That's getting Tordread to play a little more cautiously with them. But that caution with the recons costs quite a bit. As we can see, there's about to be a huge attack over here, and there was already a really good one over here. Tordread's trying to do the same thing that Kantbei did to him with the exact same city, being like, come on, send everything over here to try and stop this. But Kantbei's like, no. I would like to just kill everything over here instead. Very nice tank strike. Down goes infantry. Just a huge attack. No way to defend over here. Very nicely done. And then Kantbei's going to be like, whatever, you can just have that city. Which is what you should definitely do in that kind of situation. There's a concept called poison properties, and this would be a poison property. You'd have to lose so much trying to save this. Left side kaboom. The artillery decides to fire on anti-air. Excuse me. Like this right here. Well, I guess this infantry can't really get away. It can go to the forest. But like this is another kind of situation where it's a poison property. Just a really small example. But if your infantry can't get away, then of course you go for that. Tordread's getting a little feisty over here. Instead of just trying to run back over here to deal with this fight, he's going to try and attack on the other side. Unfortunately for Tordread in this situation, Kantbei still has quite a large army over here. And Max has a much easier time with these kind of engagements. Cool. Copter in the woods. You hate to see it. Just the copter in the woods means that I mean, it's not a huge deal. It just means that you don't have the worry of something being in the woods. Like if the copter's here, you don't know what's in the woods, but if the copter's in the woods, then you don't have to you don't have to worry about that. Chirp chirp. It'd be nice to see some people sneak the HQ. It's very exposed in the early game. In fact, it used to be way too exposed. But you could probably get a quick kill on this if you manage to get an artillery into these woods. But nowadays, I go to these fog maps, and Kantbei does too, and I say, put a black boat on that HQ. It's too easy to rush. for everyone out there who's ever been taken out early in a fog game because someone just rushed your HQ and you didn't do suboptimal captures in order to prevent it. Okay, Tordread's moving on in here. Doesn't want to go down like a chump, getting struck from every side that his army's not at. This is the weakness to kind of just having all of your army in one spot. And this is actually a really weak death ball from Tordread because there's so few infantry with it. And I would imagine at this point, Kantbei's not going to attack over here until getting this comm tower, would be my guess. There you get to see the tank just one-shots the recon. Building up the bomber count. Almost have a max power online. I don't know what the unit limit is, but Kantbei's getting really close to it. Okay, here we go. Tordread's attacking. The Neotank can kill off an anti-air. And the fighter can kill off a copter. It's going to be really sad because it's going to see another anti-air. We'll see. Tordread might make it snow. Ooh, a tank got trapped here. That super sucks. Attacks over here. I mean, boom. This is going to be a really good turn for Kantbei. This is more of just a desperation attack from Tordread, I think. Just going down swinging. Essentially. Did I say cap limit? I meant unit. Max blast. Okay. Really unfortunately for Tordread, there actually is 2 bombers here. 1 for each of these heavy vehicles. And usually fighters can survive a single anti-air strike, but not against a max blast. So there goes the Neo tank. There goes the medium tank. And then all of these copters. There's almost a copter for every copter. This one in the back is going to survive. Goodbye, anti-air. So, as you can see, this is going to be really, really tough for Tordread. But I do believe that was just a go down swinging kind of moment. See, that +2 movement makes a huge difference. Even this anti-air can come over here and kill his infantry. If it wants to. I don't know if it will. Yeah, it just comes back here. Be nice and safe. That's probably GG. I don't see what Tordread could possibly do. The comm tower is going to get captured. Copter can't even sacrifice itself to stop it. Would the Olaf normal have helped? It would have a little bit. He wouldn't be as super dead here, but he would also be really dead because he didn't have that much charge, so he wouldn't be able to get his super. And he would still probably die in the following turn. GG, very well done by Kantbei. I love that front switch. Tordread kind of ended up taking that hook, line, and sinker. Didn't see it coming at all. That was very well played. And that can happen to anyone if you don't quite have enough vision. And your spidey senses aren't aren't tingling enough. Don't think that Tordread had any capture sacrifice or any like copter sacrifices available. Yeah, these guys can't reach any anti-airs. These guys can't either. I don't think Tordread had any opportunity. Unless you're thinking you attack, you normal power. You can see if Tordread normal powers here, he's going to have like a single bar of charge left. That's if he normal powered at the very end of his turn. To try and get his super. And it won't do too much. The front line will still get eaten up. The medium tank will probably live. This bomber won't be able to participate, and this copter won't. I mean, I imagine if he normal powers, he doesn't attack down here. Because over here, it doesn't change anything. These guys are all going to die still. All these shoals and roads. And the copter is only 3 away from the other copter. It would help. It would help keep some of these copters alive for sure. But yeah, I mean, Tordread didn't really have a winning play there. He kind of got completely stopped by that first front switch and then the follow-up attack over here after all of the units came over here to deal with it. So long as Kantbei was staying back like that. We have Humita playing versus Lionheart. Potato Paradox. The Koal Mirror. Lionheart's already cold ice, so we'll just make Humita into yellow comet. Got right, left, good. I don't know if this map is still in the map rotation for standard. Yeah, lack of vision didn't help. It's tough. It's really hard to catch on to front switches with lack of vision because it could be that your opponent's just standing a little bit back out of vision, still waiting to strike, which is what Tordread thought was happening. Okay. We have a Koal Mirror. And interestingly, Lionheart is focusing on going for this capture first. Looks like they both went for this capture first. I'm not sure why. So from what I've seen on this map, kind of these 6 properties here tend to be really, really contested. So it might be the idea is that this infantry is going to be able to make it to this city in a reasonable amount of time. You see Lionheart stepping forward with this guy there. Go for this city right away. So in that case, this is already set up to deny this city from Humita. I like it. So if we're looking at this, this is what you would call city skips. And instead of going for either of these 2 cities right away, Lionheart stepping here and then going for this one. So that involves skipping cities in your capture path. This doesn't hurt your economy in the long term. It's only going to slow you down, excuse me, in the very short term. So like this city is getting captured a turn later than it would be. But then this city gets captured earlier than it would be. So it balances out once this city gets finished up and how much money you end up getting. But it can mess with very early game vehicle buys if you have specific ones you want to go for. Like a lot of players like to focus on tanks, like tank timings. And so this kind of stuff can mess with your tank timings. Tank timings, like, that won't lose you the game. Well, I mean, it can if you continue playing like you were trying to win off of tank timings. And then you just don't have the tanks that you think you should have. We have another city skip here. I like this one. I like this one quite a bit. So the infantry from here is going to go for this city, and then this guy's going to go for this city. So if this infantry goes for this city, it's kind of just stealing the target that this infantry is going for. So instead, he's going to walk by and go for another city. So not cannibalizing those captures. And that's an opportunity that this infantry wouldn't have. Because if this infantry walks past, it can't make it to this city. It's one away. It could go over here, but that's going to be whatever probably this infantry goes for. Have a good one, Zeronius. Interesting. So this one decided to walk up here to threaten to take this city, which is pretty nice because it's really tough for Humita to stop this city capture without giving up this comm tower capture, which I think Humita should do. I don't think Humita really wants to go for this comm tower capture. I'm pretty sure it's just a stepping stone to make it to this city capture. But it does also set Lionheart up to interrupt this from the force. Whoa, Humita does finish this comm tower capture. I think that's a mistake because it does just give this city to Lionheart because nothing can reach it. Unless this tank can? No. You can see, even if a vehicle gets bought here, this infantry can start capturing this city, and none of these infantry can get in range to prevent it, so it will just finish. Even if a tank was bought, it wouldn't get into range to prevent it. And this is one of those 6 very contested cities, so very nice for Lionheart to just get that. It's a pretty big blunder from Humita there, and the reason it's a blunder is because this comm tower being captured this turn does not matter. There's no fights that are going to happen on this turn or the turn it was captured, and then the follow-up infantry could have started capturing that, and then it would be finished on the next turn, which would be the first opportunity that Humita would actually have to have a strike happen. So, like, this tank could, if it wanted to, hit over here or over here. I don't think it does want to. Yeah, as all those tiles are covered by either copter or tank. But yeah, so that's a pretty big blunder, because if the thing that makes these cities so contested is that both players, it's like in between both players' bases, so that both of them can hit stuff that's on them. So oftentimes they might not get captured at all because you can just keep interrupting each other. Although this is a pretty nice play in answer. Whoa, Humita did attack over here. I guess there's the anti-air coverage. Okay. It's not good. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say it like that. I wouldn't like it to do that. The problem is the copter gets to hit the tank, and then it gets to be covered up by another tank. So if this anti-air comes in, this tank will then be able to beat up this anti-air, and you get a favorable engagement. So this is a pretty nice answer from Humita. Being like, well, I can't stop your capture, but I can start a capture that your other infantry aren't in range of preventing. So if you want to prevent it, you have to prevent your own contested capture. The Black Bomb Patreon subscription? I didn't have one. Are you interested in the Black Bomb Patreon subscription? I can add a Black Bomb tier if people would like that. If I could do, I guess I could make the Black Bomb subscription be like it's a one-time subscription. You're supposed to cancel it after after you take it, because it explodes. As blue when I stop yellow? No, I would let yellow take this because I've got more stuff. So I could probably take it. You don't want the alien one. So this is a really nice setup that Lionheart's going for. So right now, the tank is trapped. And there's no way for the anti-air to make it to the copter without having to kill one of these two infantry. So at this moment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the only way right now that this anti-air can make it to this copter is if this infantry dies, which can still happen because the 6 health tank and this full health infantry should be able to kill this infantry, I do believe. But Lionheart can stop that by just moving this 5 health infantry here and then putting this infantry on to start capturing the comm tower. Okay, Lionheart decided to attack here instead. And then also decided to attack the tank instead. That will probably keep this infantry alive, but so would have just putting the 5 health infantry here. And then you could start capturing this comm tower instead of taking this infantry damage, because this tank's going to die next turn, pretty much no matter what. So it's a little, that's definitely a little spicy. I'm not a huge fan of that. Oh, that might have still been a roll. But yeah, if the 5 health infantry just stood here, then this isn't possible at all. And you'd be pretty fine. Okay. So Lionheart's gonna be really happy. Gets to kill that tank, and then also the tank can just hit this anti-air. Or no, I can't. It's double guarded by tanks. So just hitting the anti-air would be very, very gutsy. Even with your follow-up tank, that's a little iffy. If you could double hit this with tanks to kill it off, then that'd be worth it, because then the copter is covering. But yeah. Anyway, this is looking very good for Lionheart, who's also putting a lot of pressure on the one base side here with these recons, because there's a lot of infantry over here, and Humita really would like to increase the tank count for this fight over here, but is going to have to start committing some down here to deal with the recons harassing, potentially attacking these infantry. You can feel Humita's sigh in your soul. Oh my gosh, the rare 1 HP fight and no one dies. Those were both very healthy 1 HP infantry. Okay, we have the artillery popping out here. At this point, Oh, never mind. I was gonna say Lionheart could try and go potentially for a kill here with Copter Tank, but it's a little too spicy. But it's not even possible without this content. If this Copter was at full health, I'd be more inclined. Thirst. Okay, start moving forward, trying to force some infantry fights over here that will be covered by recons. Oh. That is covered by this anti-air, so now Lionheart is going to have to block that off. Yeah, you have to go with the other tank because there's pretty decent odds of Humita getting 2-hit KOs, one from the road. That'll be 20% plus a 10%. It's not guaranteed, but it's a lot better than 2 10% attacks due to the CO being Koal. We do have a base skip here, which is not the worst thing in the world when you're getting a copter, but it's still not ideal. The Humita does get this city, which is pretty impressive to do. There's so much pressure coming from Humita here. Or not Humita, Lionheart. There also isn't an anti-air over here. So Humita's own copter is kind of got free reign. Of a sense, we have a base skip from Humita as an answer. I assume Lionheart's going to try and use their copters to try and dissuade Humita's copters. In it comes. And copters to fight copters isn't always the best, but it can be appealing. It's not nearly as strong as having an anti-air backing up your units for sure. Because while you can get first strikes on their copters can also first strike yours. And these copters aren't actually guarding each other. I believe... So this is only a 20% tank strike. I think it's at 30% you can get those one-shots on the road. Only 10% from the road, 10% from the comm tower. So if Humita had a power here, you could have a tank clear and then the copter kill the copter. Okay. Decide to strike, that's recon. Okay, we are entering into copter spam tutorial territory. Break through. Kill that tank. This is happening not quite out of artillery range. This one does get shot. Lots of captures happening over here. You can see the recons just being really annoying. That is a very curious attack. So this is Lionheart saying, I dare you to stay here with this artillery and fire on my tanks. Which I think Humita will be like, sure thing, I will. Because the power does look really nice for Humita here. It gets this tank involved in the fight as in addition to everything else. I don't think this copter can go down, but you do get a really good shot when the artillery on the road. This tank, this copter doesn't get to a fight, but that's still gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks against 4 tanks. You have an artillery and an anti-air. I think Lionheart's overextending by quite a bit. And is also going to have to be careful. Ooh. Didn't move. Wait. Didn't move any of this stuff. Well, this was already in a really precarious position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I mean, Humida's got some nice plays here. This copter can come down here and kill this recon, which would then let this copter come out and kill this copter. Maybe not kill, but do a lot of damage from the road with the power. And there's nothing stopping that. Except Lionheart's own copter over here that would have to use a power to come over. But if that happens, then this copter is not helping with this fight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it is out of range of this anti-air using the power, but I think Humida uses... Whoa! Humida didn't use the power. Well, I guess it doesn't matter in this attack unless you were trying to finish off that tank using infantry. Or maybe the anti-air. Okay, that's just a mistake. Humida should 100% use the power here for the extra power and move. I mean, there's a few ways that Humida can do it. We'll see how I decide to go about it. And I do not. It seems really weak to me. But, I mean, not really weak. It still did some pretty decent damage, but I think there was some really scary breakthroughs there. You get to hit this tank. You definitely get to kill this tank. You get to also hit another tank over here. I think you hit both of these tanks. You get to kill this copter and this recon. And you also get to kill off these infantry. Afraid of the super? Maybe. In these, it's not the, in these movement CO battles, a lot of these powers scale with the number of units you have available. So if you can use your normal power and do enough damage to pretty much what they have on the front lines, then you're not too worried about their retaliation of a super. It's not as bad as like as Drake, or like in when it's not mirrors and stuff. Didn't really attack down here. He kind of ran away. He did one attack. So I think Lionheart might use a power now. Although I think Lionheart will try and go for the super. Because in this situation, the super does let this copter get this strike from the road onto a tank on the road. As well as just open up more opportunities around the map in general. Maybe not. I mean, I could see a super and then like a huge front switch with the vehicles. Looks like Lionheart's going for the super because not attacking this. There we go. The Trail of Woe. Sad days for that anti-air. Ooh, this copter reaches this copter. Goodbye, artillery. Goodbye, copter. Fare thee well, tank. Oh, it lived. Attack over here. This copter can't reach these ones. Maybe I was playing around that. Decided to attack the tank. Sure. I would not move forward. I don't know what these guys are. These guys are dreaming a dream right now. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess that's out of range of the response super. Maybe that is fine. Yeah, I mean, that was a very strong attack. We do have a super from Humita. He's going to get one copter strike over here. Oh, even with the super. Oh, poor Koal. Humita just can't get the wins on these 1 HP attacks. Usually you have a lot of favor going into those attacks first with the 1 HP battles. Okay. The tank lived. He dies. You get a damage off on that tank. Okay, we have a copter supporting against this other copter. It's gonna be rough though. This copter plus infantry will just kill this one off, and then there should be enough blockers to stop this copter. But we'll see. Definitely not ideal when after your super you are behind in unit count, even if it's just by 1 at the end of your turn. And then, although it's just infantry, and then behind in unit value as well. Basically even. Yeah, you want to be ahead, of course, especially in a brawl. This copter does cover his copter buddy over here. Although it's also kind of in charge of covering for this copter buddy, so it's a little overloaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, you can get this guy. Do we see an anti-air build? No. Come on over. If it wants and gets surrounded, but there's no anti-air being built, so it'd probably be okay. Or it can come up here. Over here looks much less appealing to me. There's a lot of other copters that would attack you. Yeah. Demon is able to interrupt the capture. Not sure why this attack happened. The 4 health tank to do 2 damage. Okay. Well, this definitely looks like it's Lionheart's game to lose. We are going to get this around on this copter, it looks like. Just going to bring over another copter to deal with it, okay. There's no anti-air over here. Oh no. Whoa. I think Lionheart auto-ended turn because no buys from 3 bases. And there's still quite a few movements available here. This might be a live game? Was this Global League? Saving for Mega? Okay, well that's really good for Humita. It's oftentimes very nice when you get a mini lightning strike. You can see all these very nice attacks here. I mean, if Lionheart doesn't do anything, then this anti-air can just kill this copter. Lionheart does act. Okay. It's Trail of Woe. The fly in here, attack this tank. She lives. Now it goes down. Whoa, which lets this tank come in and hit this anti-air. There's this tank. And after the infantry. Over here at the recon, lots of little infantry fights over here. So we're going for this capture aggressively. Okay, well this is looking rough for Humita, even with a mini lightning strike in there. We have the response Trail of Woe. He's gonna get the helicopter. Very nice. That makes me think that this tank strike was just not worth it at all, and it should have just killed this other tank instead. Down here does stop this capture. Recon gets a little bit of harassment. This tank does get taken out very nicely. The capture barely prevented. Oh, super prevented. It goes for their own capture there. Okay, this is looking pretty decent. Gets a really nice trap on this tank, making this look even worse. And then this tank decides to stick around. Die for 3 damage. Okay. I mean, Lionheart was still ahead in unit value, but behind in unit count, down to 6 infantry versus 13. Part of that is going to be because of triple base skip. Only 1 infantry bot. Let's go for a tank strike here. I think we should probably start falling back a little bit more on this front for now until more vehicles can show up. We do have the first anti-air bot for Lionheart. Down goes this tank. A very nice little front switch with that copter by Humita. Humita did win a 1 health battle there. It is possible. I really like this ignoring this tank and just building another tank in its range. I don't know why. I guess this is to let this tank do something. What? I guess the attack is happening from the city to stop this infantry from capturing, but there's follow-up copters to kill it off. So you should definitely just attack from the road. It makes it easier for this copter to potentially avenge you, and you'll do more damage. Here's your call. Okay, still trying to go for this city. Let's have more backup now. The anti-air is completely undisputed on this front. Lots more infantry buys. I like it. There's so many of these low health copters. Looks like they're about to be... One of them got cashed in for some reason. Down goes that tank. Okay. So Humita's doing a really good job of making sure that unit count stays heavily in his favor, even though the unit value somehow still very nicely secure with Lionheart. Down goes a copter. helicopter will get killed by the infantry and recon. We take a super to have this anti-air strike a copter. So that's probably not going to happen at this stage of the turn. Tanks do get to dive in here, get to kill off this copter. Ooh, it lives at 1. We have another copter. We got a recon. I don't know about the recon buy over here. There are quite a few infantry, but there's also mainly tanks mixed in there. I'd probably like to see an artillery out of Lionheart for this approach over here, because it's going to make it so this base is going to have an awkward time. It has been brutal. Okay, Humida's going for a normal power. We're trying to take out the copter. We do take out the copter. This is probably not worth it because this anti-air gets to hit to kill that that copter, but I guess it makes it so this one is unopposed. It's Humida's turn to do a triple base skip, I guess. So, you know, it's payback. And now Lionheart gets to do the Trail of Woe. Now Humita didn't also not move half of the units, so it's not quite as good. But triple base skips are not great, as you might expect. We'll run in here, kill off these tanks. Probably should have had the 5 health tank come over here to hit this one. But I guess this tank is just going to go beat up an infantry instead. Does Humita stay in this game? Apparently so. Okay. I don't know how Humita is going to be able to salvage this. We do have a Neo tank. That's going to be tough to deal with. But all of these units should get taken out. Really shouldn't be using these tanks. Should probably use these ones in the back first. But I'm sure everything will find its target or not. What's that? What is that? Why? Go kill this 9 health infantry or something. What? You have a fighter built? Why? I mean, I like fighters. There's only 2 copters left against 3 copters and an anti-air, so no idea. Well, the Neo tank is not going to be happy because it is on a road, but only 2 copters can hit it. But of course, you would still go for that 2 Koal copter strikes. If there was another Trail of Woe, it would be very bad news for this Neo tank. I have no idea why this fighter decided to go up when there's no air over here. I guess it's going to plan to be a blocker or something. Should definitely go down where there's actually copters to attack. Looks like Lionheart is not interested in trying to kill the Neo tank copters, which is fine. There is an anti-air defending it. I suppose Lionheart was just all in on getting this city for some reason. Okay. 10 mighty units from Humita. One of which is a Neo tank. There hasn't been any response, like any units to really respond to the Neo tank, besides the copters, I take it. Or not? What? Why me just scratching my head in confusion? Guess he just wanted to kill the anti-air. Sure. Fighters being okay. We have now hit the Neotank. A Neotank of Lionheart's own. That makes sense. Humita does have the forced march, really staying in here. Disguise the fighter as a bomber, yeah. They must have been talking to each other or something. Well, the last copter's about to die. Oh, no, it's not. Nice. Well, yes it is, because this fighter can actually reach it. There we go, we got triple APC. Is that GG? Build a transport copter? Hey, there's the resignation. I'm not quite sure what happened towards the end there. Humita almost made a comeback because I think Lionheart ran out of time or something. I'll quickly check to make sure this was... Oh, this must have been a live game. This is a tournament match in the Sobbit round 8 tier 4. So that was probably Lionheart ran out of time and Humita was trying to win by the clock. That is probably what happened there. I think if Humita had used... Where was it? The normal power right here, I think Humita probably would have basically won on the spot. Maybe not quite on the spot, but it would have been pretty strong. But that's also really hard to see in live. You can kind of get fixated on one plan and not see another one pop up. Should double check to make sure this is indeed a Global League game. I assume it's sent in by John. We have an eagle mirror. Okay. Hello. It's an interesting map for an eagle mirror. The Fluffy will judge the eagle mirror. Eagle mirrors suck. The first super tends to just end the game. I once tried to use the eagle normal power and the eagle mirror so that I would get like an early-ish advantage. It was a desperate time, for sure. With the idea that I was going to get the if I got the super second anyway, I would get so much charge from getting beat up. I would still get the response super. I don't know if the eagle super ever even happened. Is it just me, or does this eagle look like he's got really big eyes? For some reason. It's like anime eagle. Is it just whoever supers first wins? Kinda, yeah. No, it looks okay-ish. I mean, it's too pixelated at that point. It happens at, like, right there. Normal. Anime. Normal. Anime. Okay. Can't unsee. Okay. Is it just gonna be whoever? No, it's really more this one. I don't know. It happens a little bit with this one. So Eagle doesn't mind base light too much because infantry don't interact with his lightning strike anyway, but he'd still usually prefer to have like as many vehicles as possible. We do have a nice artillery opening out of this one. Eagle on the right, and then a tank one on the left. This is a map that can kind of favor a lot of recon aggression, because you can very quickly get recons to any of these three fronts, which makes it kind of hard to guard them with tanks. Okay, here it was going to be. Looks like it's going to be a tank with double recon. Follow up. That's going to be pretty tough for this artillery heavy style to defend. But if the artillery, this double artillery tank opening, is able to stabilize itself against this more aggressive one, then the set up artillery can kind of win the day in the center here with all these trees. You can see how little vision and information Dhoulmagus has here. Be very careful and much slower on this avenue. Going more for these central captures, staying with the tank and the artillery. But it does mean that John is going to have a really nice economy due to being much more spread out. Look at this. The end of Dhoulmagus' turn, or Dhoulmagus, down 2k in income. Does get a kill here and is threatening to take this city away from John, but I would say John's got a pretty nice position here. It will kind of come down to who comes out ahead with the vehicle when the vehicle fights start happening. If these artillery can get some really good value, then John will be in trouble. Another turn where Dhoulmagus is, I like Magus. Dhoulmagus is behind in income. Okay, so that's some very good intel off of this recon. It attacked from the more dangerous side for some reason, but it does let it see the artillery right here and an anti-air, and it's also going to get to see the tank when the tank comes and hits it. Copter, playing it safe, as I would recommend. Now, artillery are pretty good for Eagle, because they get to move and shoot on the lightning strike turn, or even shoot twice sometimes. Was the artillery not fire? That was probably so that the artillery wouldn't be revealed. To try and get a tank to hit the infantry, my guess. Okay, so this tank hits this tank, which means this recon is going to actually get away with this infantry harassment scot-free. Tank makes sure to stay out of the recon vision. The anti-air finishes off that tank. Very nice. Another anti-air. Definitely anticipating the mass copter production that John has got going for him. And even after losing a tank, John is pretty happy in this unit value. Just the unit count looking a little sad, but we're about to kill off this infantry. Get to see another artillery. It looks like John is not trying to go for an artillery of their own. I like this attack. Very, very sneaky forward presence here from Dhoulmagus. Kind of inching towards taking this city away from John. Okay, we have... Whoa! Whoa! Okay. So... it's a good thing that John's been so far ahead in the economy. And John is aware of this because, like, this city isn't captured, these cities aren't captured, so John is aware that he's really far ahead in the economy. The idea of this missile is to make it to this forest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it locks this airport. It's going to take 1, 2, 3. I might get there faster. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it takes 4 turns. It's going to take 4 more turns. So 5 turns total with the build to make it to that forest. And then on the 6th turn, it will be able to fire. 2, 3. Yeah, no, it's just how long it takes. It's gonna take forever. If the missile does get there and somehow prevents itself from being overrun, it could lock that airport for sure. Definitely spicy. It's a big investment. Can I actually see how much income they've had? Oof. So John is half a turn ahead when it comes to economy. They've actually generated the same amount of money, despite the fact that this is Dhoulmagus' turn. And half a turn of income is like 8k or 10k-ish. So this missile costs a little bit more than the economic advantage that John's gotten so far. He built a missile on this map. We'll see if this manages to make it. Because it does take a long time to get to this forest, but then you also have to protect the forest. Because missiles are made out of paper for the most part. They're surprisingly resilient against machine gun fire, like infantry and recons. But against like tanks and copters, they just kind of melt. Dhoulmagus does get, I say it differently every time, does get this city. It's trying to go for this city. Doesn't bode well for the missile plan because there's a lot of stuff over here. Ooh, we have an attack in the center, trying to cover as best they can using the artillery. A little bit vulnerable, but there is all of the recons, except for this one now, from John are gone, so it's kind of hard to get a full idea of what's going on here. There is a mountain or two that can be stepped on. The missile's on its way. It's a very dangerous area over here. Wow. Okay, the tank is swinging on in here, I guess. I don't see the follow-up. Okay. Usually... Infantry got trapped there. Usually when you're going for stuff like this, the idea is to attack the most forward units. Because you can see, like here, these guys came in here to kill... I think it was a tank? Maybe it was an anti-air. But that does allow these units to then get attacks in. Okay, does kill off this artillery, which is pretty nice. It does leave this anti-air vulnerable. And this recon spots the missile as well. Oh my gosh. Okay. Still have a really nice economic advantage for John. We're going to see a lot of vehicles get taken out here. I'm not sure what this artillery is doing. If it's not shooting this tank, I guess it's shooting an infantry. Does kill off the anti. Does kill it. Okay. I would probably have shot this tank and then killed this tank with strike. A whole bunch of nice copter first strikes. Oh, Dhoulmagus is so... There's probably been a misplay here. Because Dhoulmagus is not going to make it to the super, but it's going to be awfully close. So I think... Didn't calc that out. Potentially, it would have taken a little bit more than this copter sacrifice over here. But it was probably possible to make it to that super. But this is GG. The missile will get a shot. It's gonna get to go to here, and then lightning strike kill a copter. Yeah, it's super over. Welcome to the Eagle Mirrors. I was gonna go to here. Okay. I personally would have gone to here, because that line's good enough to make it to the forest. Some tanks. Get a lightning strike. The missile fired. Copters. Recon attack. Copter plus copter, probably. Oh, had to go up there, okay. Well, these tanks do live. So, well, if Dhoulmagus wants to, they can lightning strike to kill the missile. They just resigned. Welcome to the Eagle Mirror. Sad game. 10 units, yeah. I probably would have killed the missile and then resigned. Eagle Mirrors, very, very unforgiving. Very nice opening from John, though. can see how much of an economic advantage he got. Boy. Sasha versus Hawke. Hi. You're welcome. Okay, so I think this isn't done by lazyboi. Left, right, we have Sasha versus Hawke. Can Hawke get anime eyes? I don't know. We'll cheer for SDS. Oh, Sonja the Superior? Okay. Need a replay mod that gives COs anime eyes? We already have one, apparently. We've talked about this map a few times. If you're not Sturm, then breaking these pipes over here can help give you some much faster reinforcement routes so you're not having to go through these forests. It's a quad comm tower map. These central comm towers are kind of the more safe ones for each player to get, with the corner ones being pretty easy to flip because they're so far away from your production. You have a double airport over here. You can see a lot of airplay. And the HQs don't have any like blacklist or anything on them, so they are kind of vulnerable. We do have a Sasha opening with a delayed recon. It's not like the fastest of day 4 recon, so it's not super delayed, but it's not extra fast. And then we have a Sonja the Superior Hawke recon on the same turns. They're both going for a recon opening. And then we have a tank here. This is probably in response to a potential recon opening to try and guard the one base capture phase, because it can be very vulnerable when you start reaching out to these cities. Sonja the Superior goes for 2 back caps here really early. I wouldn't be too pressured to go for both of these right away, because you're not going to have the funds to produce from both of them, and it can cost you by having to invest 2 infantry in the early game to go backwards rather than going forwards for some captures. But it can also be kind of awkward to get some city captures, because the routes aren't the best. But if you don't start going for them early on, you won't get there until there's actually vehicles on the field ready to interrupt stuff. We do have a nice early artillery from lazyboi here. Break this pipe seam, or this one. You can see which one it starts going for, and we'll also get to find out if Sonja the Superior. Well, we won't be able to tell, but it'll kind of come down to whether or not Sonja the Superior is checking the pipe seam health after every turn, because you can be in for some rude surprises if you're not checking the pipe seam health, and then you're like fighting over here, and then suddenly the pipe seam's gone, and their tank can run in and join the fray when you're not expecting it. Okay, which one? Looks like we're going for this one first. We have a nice tank first strike for Sonja the Superior over here. It doesn't kill the tank, so this is also, of course, Fog of War, so it's usually pretty easy to just retreat with a tank and heal it up, where in Standard, oftentimes this can just mean you lose the tank. Oh, you're right. That is weird that the banner is orange. You think it's gold because it's gold comet now? Still yellow comet. Okay. We do have the comm tower captured here from lazyboi. We'll see how lazyboi decides to respond. Down here. There hasn't been any artillery out of SonjaTheSuperior breaking any pipe seams yet. Tank does run away. But then still goes for this comm tower capture. I think that's not a great call. But it could be that SonjaTheSuperior is like the pure audacity of this capture means there's a follow-up tank. Looks like that is... Wow. Okay, it worked. The pure audacity of the move does secure that comm tower for lazyboi. There you go. And this pipe seam is working. We do have the artillery being built by SonjaTheSuperior. It looks like they weren't checking the pipe seam health. They probably just saw that it got destroyed. Because usually when you see the pipe seam getting shot down, then you'll build your own artillery to make sure you break your own, so you don't get outdone when it comes to the reinforcements. Now it's a lot easier for this base to strike out down this way. Doesn't have to go up and around through a forest. The recon does delay this comm tower, but also dies for it. There is a follow-up recon, so very nice on lazyboi's part. And of course, this is the Sasha versus Hawke matchup. So Sasha should have a pretty decent advantage in this game early on due to having just more money in comparison to Hawke's plus 10% firepower. And a lot of this is going to come down to how well can lazyboi kind of messes this up, but manage the charge for both themselves and SonjaTheSuperior's own Hawke power. The mess up here is that this recon is known about. Well, maybe this isn't really a mess up. I would consider it a mess up. I would want to kill this recon off with my tank because that's the safe thing to go for. This tank is within the double move of this other base, so I'd be a little bit iffy trying to target it over this recon. But that's okay. Kind of setting up very passive little wall here. I like this position with this infantry on this mountain. Very annoying to deal with. You have the anti-air come in and kill this copter. Not the end of the world for lazyboi because there is quite a bit of vehicles over here. So killing off the anti-air in exchange will not be too difficult. And this recon does move into the artillery range. So it is going to end up getting killed off anyway. SonjaTheSuperior is cashing in. I'm not a huge fan of this, but is cashing in these infantry on the weak side. Problem with that is that oftentimes they're not going to have very many infantry besides those the starting ones, because you have to keep building these vehicles from this one base. So yeah, to help with that, we do have some infantry being front shifted over, which can definitely help to make sure you don't just run out. Gets taken out. Now goes the anti-air. SonjaTheSuperior definitely should have built another anti-air. Anytime your anti-air, if you have like one anti-air in your front and you send it forward to the front lines to kill a copter, you should always build a replacement because it's going to most likely get targeted down and killed. And then you're going to have turns where you don't have any way of warding off copter aggression. You have the market crash. Very important to do that before going in for any purchases. We have a medium tank and a transport copter. I like it. That's another way to help shore up any infantry front lines. Artillery is a little exposed, but I think it is covered by a tank, so can't be too upset about that. So these are very good tank first strikes for SonjaTheSuperior. The artillery, not quite in the best position to deal with that kind of thing. We'll see if anything happens over here. Because lazyboi is seeing a lot of vehicles on this top side, which should start inviting them to attack over here. Kind of like what we saw in the, or what we could have seen, or I guess we kind of saw in the Kantbei versus Tordread game, where Kantbei saw a lot of Tordread vehicles on one side and then attacked on the other one. Comet change is probably over concerns of potential racism accusations over Yellow Comet. I gotcha. Oh, you got censored on YouTube for saying the word racism, I guess? Interesting. Okay. We'll see what these tanks do. They kind of have to run back to some nice coverage and reinforcements. Yeah, there we go. Does leave this artillery again a little exposed. It is in the forest though. Some nice coverage. Very good interrupt over here. This doesn't mean on the baseline they currently have even 20% firepower for both players. Okay, so this is a mistake from lazyboi. Should definitely be attacking in at this point. I mean, there's so much stuff revealed up here. Way too safe. I know it can be tough to make those calls. Does start going for a city capture though, so there is some presence on the other side. Ooh. SonjaTheSuperior pulls the gun there, sends those two infantry in. They're gonna get taken out, and then the city will start being captured again. Comp tower was effectively denied. Next copter first strike from SonjaTheSuperior. There is an anti-air here. That doesn't have a chance to kill. But it's okay. I mean, it still does positive damage. Okay. Start seeing stuff being built up over here. lazyboi does have a nice Sasha power available. Is actually behind in the capture game. It's 22 properties to 23, but the Sasha money makes up for that. Which, oh, it's this city is the one that's uncaptured for lazyboi, but we do have the com tower. Didn't dive in to like kill off this tank or anything. Just couldn't reach. Copter moves back. Anti-air comes up to finish off this copter. It is nicely covered by this artillery. Okay, recon comes in to beat up the opposing recon. I probably would have killed this infantry. Instead, we do have the market crash. Goodbye, Hawke power. And then this medium tank is going to be looking very scary for SonjaTheSuperior to deal with right now. Okay, recon does get away. Tank comes in to hit this recon, which does survive thanks to some nice not day to day, but the plus 10 stats you get for having a power active. Let's try and take out this copter. Does get it. It's a little bit harder to kill those copters off like that when they have that stat boost because it does affect the luck damage. This medium tank is known about, but still attacks in. Decides to overload it, I see. Okay, well this is going to be a very good turn for lazyboi. We have the artillery fire, we have 2 tanks back here that can do damage, and we have the medium tank. And this comm tower is still being denied. And the city's actually going to get captured. Okay. I'm surprised that SonjaTheSuperior dove in here. Very safe positioning with this medium tank. Decides to attack from the city in the rear. Must be a little bit concerned about some sort of anti-medium tank measures that SonjaTheSuperior has taken. And then super retreat over here. There's still a lot of infantry advantage for lazyboi. I would probably attack in with the infantry because you're going to be popping the Sasha power here, and infantry fights generate so little charge that you get to pop the Sasha the Sasha power to drain the charge and then still get full use of those stats in these infantry fights. But I can understand wanting to just back off instead. The fewer fights that are going on, the harder it is for Hawke to get the power in a surprise way, and you do want to preserve your infantry count as well as you can on the weak side for sure. The few infantry fights do happen over here. After the power. What's going on over here? Fluffy, what did you do as a mod? Just blame Brasmac? Poor Brasmac. Did I just use a chess term? Yeah. There's a few chess terms that work very well in Advanced Wars by Web. Overloading is something that you'll run into a lot. You love Go7 almost as much as you love Arctic birds? Wow. Okay, I agree with this. SonjaTheSuperior is going to back on off. No real way to deal with this medium tank right now. We got the medium tank killer. We've got the bomber. Once the armies kind of build up anyway, it'll be a lot easier for SonjaTheSuperior to get a power off. lazyboi decides to attack in here and start capturing this. This is very confusing to me because lazyboi had just backed off and there is an artillery here. Okay. I mean, I'm going to assume it's in reaction to this army backing off, but this army backing off is not what's going to tell you to attack over here. It's usually it's the opposite. If this army was attacking you, that tells you to attack over here. If this army is backing off, that usually means the reinforcements are heading over here. Did lazyboi have a way of setting up an infantry in range? Yeah, there should definitely... Actually, you should... This army backs off, you should just take the comm tower. Not quite sure what's going on here with lazyboi. This is not a great situation. This is going to give SonjaTheSuperior really good attacks over here. The bomber broke the pipe seam. SonjaTheSuperior just assumes that this comm tower is being taken, and it's not. No attempt to try and save it. Lazyboi's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have attacked. Time to back off just a tiny bit. Starts front switching down here. Looks like a tank hit this pipe seam. The anti-air artillery. So this double anti-air buy is because lazyboi looked at the replay and saw this pipe seam die in a single strike. And there's only two things that can do that. There's the bomber and there's the mega tank. And it looks like lazyboi decided that the bomber is a much more likely option. I don't think SonjaTheSuperior is trying to go for this tower right now. Because there's not quite enough healthy infantry. But maybe still so. We'll see if this guy stops. If this guy stops at this city on the way, probably so. I mean, it's in range at 8 health. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. This is really good from SonjaTheSuperior. Just like, if they're not going to approach, you just stay nice and safe and start front switching these units away to where you're going to win on the other side. I think the pipe teams do show individual hits in the replay viewer, do they not? You don't believe they do? They don't? Okay. That's how Shu got faked out? I mean, I swear I've seen it happen. Well, in this case, they saw it die in one turn. It could die from, like, artillery tanks. They show in live. Ah. Yeah, lazyboi's just... I don't know why lazyboi's not going for this comm tower. Okay, this, I don't know why. Okay, SonjaTheSuperior does check to see the army is still here. Attacks in here. Ooh, that bomber is in range of this anti-air. A little bit of gusto. We do get the black wave. I didn't even see that lazyboi let that through. What happened? Or did lazyboi not get the charge or something? Oh. Well, lazyboi could have stopped that just by hitting this tank. That is not great. So sometimes you do let Hawke power, or like powers in general, through as Sasha. Usually you do that in a really kind of controlled fashion. In a situation where it's not going to hurt you too bad. And then you can just keep them locked out for the rest of the game. That was pretty nasty. The lazyboi is definitely still in it, and we do have a strike on the bomber, which is nice. It's not going to kill it, but it's still pretty good. Copter plus bomber get to be hit. Could still go for this comm tower. Probably strike from the road so that the artillery can't shoot you. I guess the artillery gets to shoot this one anyway. Some pretty good strikes. It's not like amazing. I don't know what's going on up here. lazyboi just like decided that these units no longer exist. Doesn't even have. Didn't even like go for these mountains to get some really good vision. This is really bad. There's even a recon here. Okay, we have a nice attack in here for SonjaTheSuperior. There was no anti-airs built to replace. Oh no. The huge copter swarm. There's still a sizable army for lazyboi, but it's done nothing. It's just sat up here. Okay, we start seeing a front switch through here. The artillery's broken the pipe seam. Because the army started to move a little bit. We have the market crash. Very nice to get that done before the medium tank still just sits here on this HQ. Should probably move at least to this missile platform. The anti-airs are starting to front switch down here, as you would expect. So SonjaTheSuperior is going to get this comm tower. Hasn't even bothered checking here. Probably assumed this whole time that it was 3 comm towers to 1. But no. Bomber escapes. A nice tank attack here. Whoa, very aggressive. Just out of range of the base. The forest. A very good attack from SonjaTheSuperior. This whole time, this entire attack over here should have been giving lazyboi huge signals to do something on this side, because look how much is invested here. But, okay. That kind of thing can happen. Now we start going for this comm tower. And we start pushing these other cities. But no. So if you're doing this to attack while they're like on their weaker side, when they're doing all these huge investments, you do need to actually invest some stuff with this. They're going to have something. They're just not going to have all of their vehicles. Like the infantry usually aren't able to walk all the way across. Okay, it looks like the medium tank's gonna stay. Push, okay. You just have another bomber built by SonjaTheSuperior. Okay, anti-air goes down. More strikes. Another city starting to be captured here. Lose this tank. There's a few copters coming in here for lazyboi. Looks like SonjaTheSuperior is still attacking here, but the reinforcements are starting to switch. So that means if this attack keeps up, SonjaTheSuperior is going to end up overextending. It could lose a lot of stuff. This comm tower is captured, so it's back to 2 comm towers for lazyboi. Anti-air stops that capture from happening. Have some nice copter strikes. Okay, at this point, got our comm tower. Yeah, this makes more sense to retreat from now that so much stuff is front switched away. Get the market crash. See what SonjaTheSuperior does. Everything just backed up over here, so we might see these units front switch back, or they might try and charge forward. Everything's falling back over here, so I think we're just going to see these guys start charging forward. No. One starts front switching back. Okay, so SonjaTheSuperior is feeling a little hesitant. Which is understandable. We have a Neo tank built by lazyboi. Testing the waters, sent an infantry forward here. Starts moving forward. I'm not sure why they're moving forward in this direction, unless the idea is to go for this city. It's really far behind this kind of diagonal line. It's a little risky to dive in for that. Just kill that guy off. The recon does see quite a few vehicles here. I think lazyboi could probably attack here and be fine, but wants to keep setting up. Sure. I mean, this isn't quite a death ball. I mean, it is a death ball. It's just not a very good death ball because it doesn't have the crust of infantry around it. There are 14 infantry to 13. Most of them are up here. And the crust of infantry on the death ball helps a lot because it means that your vehicles are safe from the opponent's vehicles for first strikes. It makes it so if your opponent attacks you, you end up winning the engagement. Okay. This is a really sketchy spot for SonjaTheSuperior. It's almost letting lazyboi attack and cut off the reinforcements. The reinforcements are having to pass this way, and the attack's coming in this way. Just a little bit, excuse me, a tiny bit forward, hitting artillery. Have a good one, Christian. You know, see what Hawke needs to play over. Hawke doesn't need to play overly aggressive. No. Hawke definitely benefits from the armies building up. Makes it easier to bust through to get a Hawke power, and it also makes the Hawke power more effective. Okay, this infantry could potentially go for this city. At this point, lazyboi looks like they're just short on recons for this army. Yeah, there isn't a recon, but there's a recon over here. This might be an upcoming triple recon turn. Really good use of the 1 health copter as a scout. You're not super sad when a 1 health copter dies. And if it can make sure that you don't commit in a poor way, then that's really good. I like this. I like that SonjaTheSuperior is falling back here. It was getting really dicey to open up your army to being attacked like that. Lazyboi's like, oh, that's a great idea. I'll send my 1 helicopter forward to do a little bit of scouting. Okay, this is a much better situation. Now if Lazyboi attacks, the reinforcements for SonjaTheSuperior do get to come up and actually help the army rather than getting cut off. We do have SonjaTheSuperior going for this comm tower capture. That's a little surprising to me because there hasn't really been that many units front switching. But I guess they're front switching now. So that's not exactly as coordinated as you would like. But it is what it is. This should kind of entice Lazyboi to attack over here. Some counter aggression. But it looks like we're gonna just try and follow the army. The big old front switch. Only attack. Okay, mostly a big old front switch. Hello. Wait for these captures. You're about to find out that that's not going to work out super great. The attack over here is pretty nice. Does attack here. I don't super like this, but at least at least Sasha isn't able to heal up these units. So we're gonna see a lot of attacks coming in. There isn't that much up here currently that can actually fight, so SonjaTheSuperior might get this comm tower. The Neo tank still gonna be hidden over here. Oh, it's gonna come in and kill this tank. Who lived at 1. That one will not be so lucky. This tank doesn't have too many options. This tank can pretty much just beat up this tank. Targets the anti-air, which makes sense. Dive in, kill this recon. That's very valuable. Lazyboi really wishes that they had a cheaper turn last turn, because they're not going to be able to drain all of this charge. If they had saved up like another 10k or something, it would be a pretty good chunk. But that can be really hard to do. Trying to protect the Neo tank from the bomber. See how much it does drain. Oof. I guess it would have had to be like another 20k. That's true, it's a day 35 capture limit. It's gonna hurt. That's one of the harder things to do with Sasha is banking cash. Joining units to drain more. Okay. I could see that. What would you join the I mean, joining these two copters together would make a lot of sense. This guy's down to 16 fuel anyway. I think that's the only one that really makes sense, though. But that would be a pretty fancy move. Okay, so this is going to hurt a lot. Leader gets taken out. More captures are happening. Strike through here. He's trying to kill off all the infantry. So this is probably the... Is the day... No, the day limit's not 35 in fog, though, is it? I thought it was longer in the fog turn. Or maybe that's the Discord Cup one. Maybe it's not in Snacky Cup. Okay, so SonjaTheSuperior does settle for just the normal power. It's still going to do a ton of damage. I think the Discord Cup was 40. The bomber still makes it through to the Neo tank. Very strong attack. lazyboi would have to... They're even in properties right now, but these two are flipping. The Hawke power. Very good. The mech gets the strike. The anti-air. Do stop that city. This one does still get captured though. Looks like we're going to have... Oh no, we do get 2 anti-airs to kill them. Very few infantry are left for lazyboi. We're down to 4, which means... Died. What? Which means it's going to be very tough to take back a city. At this point, SonjaTheSuperior can kind of just sacrifice stuff into kill infantry, if it came to that. And lazyboi would have no way of capturing a city, even if SonjaTheSuperior's whole army pretty much died. That looks like it's GG, but we do have the war bonds at the very end. We will see how much money lazyboi is able to make. 25,400 is what we started with. It's hard to get a better war bonds. There's a lot of attacks. Ah, 3650, 550. $11,150 generated. There were still some more attacks that were possible. GG. That was quite the comeback from SonjaTheSuperior. A really nice positioning and patience. lazyboi, I think, could have won this pretty handily. There's just like... Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it took 7 turns longer than I should have to start going for this comm tower. Maybe 6 turns longer. The upper right was brutal. That's like, this is what ended up costing lazyboi, is that this whole army just sits up here. They don't go for the comm tower, while the army for SonjaTheSuperior does front switch away very nicely and win the bottom left. It happens. Okay, I can get one more game in. We got PunisherIceman versus... For some reason I have the BoldBadger. That's a little mistype there, but it looks like it's the BoldBadger. See if I can change that. Yet? Sure. Just because oftentimes people try and type their, or they can type their name into the Discord chat. See if if I ever said their name to find their game on the stream. It'd be really unfortunate if BoldBadger wasn't able to, because I misspelled them. Okay, so we have PunisherIceman versus BoldBadger. Andy versus Kindle. Celeste. Andy versus Kindle. It's a classic matchup. And this is a pretty good map for Kindle, I would say. Usually got some really nice artillery play because of all these mountains and the contested properties around them. Make those nice choke points. Both players are going for these neutral bases as they should. There are some non-artillery openings, but the artillery opening tends to be the strongest. Ooh, we do have a recon opener from the BoldBadger, a very bold opening. It can be very intimidating for the one base, and it does stop you from going for an artillery opening, because the artillery doesn't really stop the recon from harassing you, so it kind of forces a tank out of this one base side. We'll see if the recon gets any harassment done. So far it's stopped, I guess, this capture from going on. This infantry could have gone for this capture because it would still be protected by this tank. Let's see what the recon does. A lot of this is going to come down to how patient can the recon be. Yeah, front it just starts moving over here to put some pressure on the capture phase. Sometimes people go for these recon openers and they just kind of slam their recon forward into an infantry and then lose it to a tank. Which is of course not ideal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the kind of situation where your recon can suddenly get some value. So what you can do here is put your recon on this city, bring this tank up. It's covering the recon from the city. It's a Kindle tank too. And this recon being here stops this infantry from going for this capture. Just by occupying the space. In this case, that's not going to work because this tank did not go its full movement. It should have gone here. Not sure why it went here. Guess it wanted to hit this. BoldBadger didn't quite see it. But that would have been something you can do. Although, it looks like this infantry didn't want to try and go for the capture anyway, so that's fine. Both players got these cities pretty early on, which is nice. It means neither one got denied by either infantry attacking the mountain or like artillery blocking it off or locking it down. You can always build an artillery to try and take this though, because if the artillery gets to here, it's got a really defensive position and it's covering any capture going for this. There we go. I mean, this doesn't quite work. This almost works. The problem is this tank isn't actually covering this recon from the city. These tanks can just kill the recon. But that's the general idea of how you can use like tank recon in combination. Yeah, you would have to tank chain it, yeah. But you'd probably build the tank here. You could build it here, though. But you'd be winning this because Andy wouldn't have a comm tower. You'd be Kindle tank. But yeah, you can see in this case it doesn't quite work out. Rest in peace, recon. Wait, are you saying this tank would have been in range of this tank? Yeah, it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that would have still been. But yeah, I would recommend building that tank. You want to, well, anyway, you want to do a tank chain anyway, because with this attack, the opponent can tank chain to attack tank on the city. Of course, you could also have different positioning with other stuff too. But it's not a huge deal. Okay. Whoa. I would have thought that this guy would come in and try to interrupt, because it's kind of annoying for PunisherIceman to stop his hit due to tank and copter combination. I guess there's just enough fear of this anti-air. Oh. And he does get the artillery over here, and we have one built up here. Which is good. I was saying that artillery are very good on this map, and they are. Interesting. It was just a single attack here. I'm not sure that works, but I guess I'm about to find out. I think you can hit this with your tank and then hit it with anti-air and an infantry. Block here, and then have this infantry block here. That works, right? Infantry here, tank strike, anti-air strike, infantry strike. Then artillery comes out. Your anti-air is still safe. It's still locking the airport. I'm pretty sure that works. It might not be a guarantee. Oh. This also works. Right here, I guess. Oh, artillery here, sure. I prefer to... Well, it's not a huge deal. I mean, the anti-air, if it gets hit, won't, or by this tank, it won't be able to one-shot a copter anymore. And I don't like going over here for this capture, though, because these guys are not protected by the vehicles. Yes, the RD is locking the airport. Haha! Okay, this is a nice little defensive setup. There is a problem here for PunisherIceman, and that is that this infantry is starting to start taking this. Therefore, so we have a Neo tank built in response. Neo tanks are pretty difficult to take out, which is good for Andy. They also, of course, do a lot of damage. Looks like the BoldBadger going to get an economic advantage because of something. This city. I actually got this city, which I'm surprised by. PunisherIceman is hurting a little bit here. We do have the Neo tank. Come on in. 3 starts capturing. Wall this off to try and make it so it can't just be chewed through and hit this artillery. Huge little, almost double layered wall infantry here. With a copter strike, almost 1 shots. Okay. Isn't any anti-air over here. This one almost reaches. Andy isn't going to be able to get the super unless there's a lot of exposed attacks. You have a Neo tank from BoldBadger. I mean, I suspect that PunisherIceman is just going to attack over here. It's pretty bold to front switch in front of the army like that. Yeah, we have an attack over here. Then it can easily kind of wall itself off with these infantry. Could be taken out with an urban blight, but it kind of takes most of the vehicles in order to. A nice block off here to build a copter. Fall back. The attack. This is kind of the general thing you want to do. You fall back on one side while you attack on the other. Sometimes you can attack on all sides. Tank is not covered. Tank's covered. What tank isn't covered? Well, it is. Look. You can almost wall this off. The Neo tank's not covered? We do have an urban blight here. That's a little daring. Because Andy is getting close to the but that was what I was saying with how you can break through this wall, but it does take most of the vehicle. You don't want to do like this attack. Both of these attacks you wouldn't want to do with these vehicles. I guess this one is the one that can only hit here. But like this attack should happen with this guy, so that you can have this guy available to do something else. Now this guy, anything he wants to do, also wants to charge forward over here. Might be happening. He can't hit this tank. Another front switch back here. These guys are gonna die. We do have definitely an Andy super on the table. The copter. We'll see if PunisherIceman even needs it. It does let this anti-air kill this copter. I'll let this tank hit this artillery once the Neo tank breaks through. The Neo tank might go do something else anyway. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure on all the rolls here for all these attacks that to generate charge, but ideally you don't lose the unit when playing as Andy, because instead, if you can take like an attack where the anti-air gets knocked down to 5, for instance, you then heal it all the way back up to full with your super. Where if you do it like this, sure, it generates you a lot of charge, but now you don't have that unit to heal. That loses a lot of the value. So instead, you'd prefer to have it like hit this guy or this guy, something like that. But if I'm going to assume the PunisherIceman was doing the calcs and that was like absolutely required, although I'm a little bit dubious on that. Our hyper upgrade. The tank decides to come over here at this tank. It does leave it open to this Neo tank first strike on the BoldBadger, which isn't great. That does kill a tank. We do have an artillery backing it up, which is nice. Fall back a bit. Whoa. What? It's gonna take a lot of units to let this, like a Neo tank. if I remember correctly, Neotanks hit Neotanks like Tank hits tanks. So it's going to take a lot of sacrifices to make that worthwhile. No. So that's not great. This Neotank does get a slightly more favorable attack, but you lose a lot of extra tank health. The artillery still shoots it, and then this Neotank heals for a turn and is back at full with the next super. Oh, it might get knocked down to 1. This tank rolls. You guys did have to move into artillery fire too. Is it going to go in? Could also anti-air clear this infantry. I know you. No, you can because there's a comm tower. I think. Maybe not. I have to look at the rolls again. Normally you would have, because the infantry's on planes, but you have the plus 10%. Defense. Very sad Neotank. This one's like, whatever, I'll just leave. I'm Andy. Hit the artillery, very nice. Have some tanks. Stand in the way. Hope you have some more tanks. Okay, everything's clustering over here. We have another Neotank built. This is kind of how you you just ignore. Usually, you just ignore the urban blights on your production because you don't want to hurt your reinforcements by trying to play around urban blight on just these 3 units you build. But instead you do try and avoid the urban blight on the cities. The other units. We have a stealth built by the BoldBadger. A very bold play. Also, just a free city. You have an urban blight. The urban blight might stop a fighter from being built or something. Kill an infantry there. Now, a fighter could still be built with some, just joining some units together if need be. Some biscuits. Got it. PunisherIceman starts moving up here. Gonna go for a potential city trade here. Now I do like stealth buys when you are ahead in the game and you're trying to put a lot of pressure on your opponent. You can see here PunisherIceman is going to go for the fighter and it's going to require 2 base skips. So if the BoldBadger, which in this case they are, is ahead in unit count, this helps keep them ahead in unit count. And they are ahead in income, but not by a ton. So it's not going to be as much of an economic pressure as it can be. But if this was a bigger, if it was at this stage, then the stealth buy is worse. This is a mistake by the BoldBadger, probably. So if we look at this situation, you knock this down to 3. But you give Punisher, the Andy player, a ton of charge. This heals up to 5 with repair, and then it heals up to 10 with the hyper upgrade. And then you also then lose your anti-air. But if you're gonna overcharge the Andy player, then it's not as bad because you do cost them, 4,000 in repair costs. Although that's not really worth losing your whole anti-air. I mean, it'll probably. In this case, it doesn't look like Kindle's overcharging Andy, so this just made it really easy for Andy to get the super. Some fun Andy tech there. Gets that city. Gets that city. These cities, you might be like, why didn't something hit this infantry? Well, because, I mean, there could have been some sort of breakthrough, I'm sure. But you have to hit this with a lot. You can't just have like a tank hit it, because that hits it down to like 5. And if it's at 5, and he uses a super, heals it up to 10, and then it finishes the capture. And then yeah, this is now, yeah, it was 3 HP, you repaired up to 5, and now it's going to be supered up to 10, and then indeed it will get the hit in the Neo tank. Probably should have waited on this attack for the super to be in place to do more damage. Another Urban Blight was very close. That would have been pretty decent. It would have made the fighter be at 8. Of course, yeah, you can see it's a brand new fighter. Okay, we're moving on forward. Oh, we're going for an HQ cap? Neo tank not have a better option? Go kill his anti-air. I guess the anti-air is already killable. Alright. So, I mean, that's pretty scary. Neo tank is going to be kind of tough to deal with. There's going to be an Urban Blight to save the HQ. So this is a 2-turn attack. Well, Neo gets the kill. Kill the anti-air. Hit the artillery. Stealth, very daring. Moves within... Oh, don't do that. Moves within the fighter's range. I wonder where the stealth is. Stealth should probably have moved more up here. If we can just place it in a very innocuous position. Fighter was tagged. I mean, imagine we might see anti-air come over, kill this, infantry kill this. Oh, but there's nowhere to reveal the stealth. Okay, it should be fine. I don't think there's a way to reveal the stealth. We'll see. There's just no way to guess where the stealth is. Oh, there wasn't. Wow, this Neo tank was next to a city here. Didn't even see that. Could have taken a pretty decent hit. Although, I mean, there's a little more pressing issues for the BoldBadger at them. Okay. Pull off a bunch of tanks. Yeah, well, that definitely shows that the infantry over here would have been a problem for sure. The anti-air trying to break through. Okay, this is where things get tricky again. So we're probably going to see another Urban Blight, but we do have Andy generating charge. So you do need to knock this down to below 5. In this case, it's just going to die, which is definitely below 5. You have an Urban Blight. It does hit quite a few things. Okay, the stealth is dead. Well, it might not be dead. It's kind of tough to make up 3 charge bars for Andy here. If Andy gets the super, the stealth is dead. So far, I'm pretty sure it's only beat up on poor innocent infantry so far. The very expensive recon. Okay. Kill off this anti-air. As well as that one. There's gonna be... I guess nothing's actually in range of stopping this capture. A little bit of a fallback here. There's no Andy Super. Here, the stealth should go back and refuel on the airport. Most likely. An APC for a stealth that's in fighter range is not ideal. Unless you're gonna build copter, which it does look like a copter's gonna get built, although I guess you can't really, because there's an anti-air in range of that. So yeah, you just go back and refuel on the airport in that case. Okay, break through here, we have double Neo Tank attack. Pretty nasty. Goodbye, Neo Tank. City gets captured. Fall back a little bit over here. Really close to an Andy Super. Huge deficit unit count. And a lot of the unit value is right here for the BoldBadger. Now the stealth might be able to kill this 7 health Neo Tank. Not quite. The tank follow-up can do it though. So it did get something done before it died. I mean, it still costs more than the Neo Tank, but it is what it is. We have the missile, anti-air, resign. The fighter could definitely be a little more gutsy there for sure. But GG. And that's how tricky it can be to fight Andy. You can be like, against anyone else, I would love to have my anti-air hit their fighter when I have a stealth. But you just don't do that against Andy. There's so many attacks that Andy's like, thank you. I was wondering how I was going to get my super, and then you handed me over 10,000 charge. So the BoldBadger had I think a really strong opening. It kind of fell apart a bit towards that mid game and some of the anti-Andy tank. Whoa, tech. The stealth was also not a great buy because the airport wasn't locked down and the BoldBadger wasn't far enough ahead at that point. The other thing that I think the BoldBadger probably should have worked on is, where was it? There was like an end the turn urban blight. This one? Yeah. Like this urban blight shouldn't have been used. Instead what you do, especially against Andy, is you just save up to your super, and then you urban blight if the urban blight's good. But otherwise you use your high society. This was just like a really bad turn, I guess, for BoldBadger, because this is also the turn they built the stealth. But your high society can give you one shots, which lets you just kill Andy's units, and that's really nice. Doing little chip damage with your urban blight is not gonna work well for you or Kindle. Kindle players never catching a break. GG. Okay, I gotta call the stream there. Hope people had fun. I gotta go off to class. I did once main Andy. I started out maining Andy. My first league game was me as Andy against Eagle in Fog. I was not a very good player. I was good enough to move ahead. GG. There is a Patreon if you'd like to join that and help support everything. Leave you with an apple. And the nice little "You Still Made Andy Nice." Nice little outro.
It's Go7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins.